And when I went to the USA, I had like a weird feeling in my stomach, before I flew to America. And I was like, what is this? And I didn't know. When I was there, I was doing my thing, We were driving through North Carolina. We were, making apple juice. We were doing a lot of stuff. And the last day, we were visiting friends of them. And they had a quad. And I was driving with that quad, because the husband of that woman was like, hey, you can drive that over the field. And I was doing this. And I was driving too fast. I was getting in a hole with my right wheel. I was losing control, and I had to hit the brake. My down body was like hitting the quad. My upper body was getting thrown over the quad, and I had my hands on the quad. And through that movement, I didn't know that. But through that movement, I did cut away all of my ribbons, muscles, and tendons of my collarbone from here to here and on the side. I didn't know that to that point. I didn't know that. On the next day, I flew home, and I knew something was wrong. When I sat into the airplane, I was moving my arm, and I felt that something was wrong. Something was moving, and I went on the toilet, and I put off my clothes. I was putting off my clothes, and I was moving my shoulder, and I saw that my bone was moving. I was like going crazy. I was like, what is this, man? I was really like, what is going on? So I flew home. I left the airport, and everything on my body, upper body, was burning. I was like, what is going on? I said to my parents, hey, something is wrong with me. I gotta go see the doctors. I went to the doctors. We did everything. We did a whole checkup. They said, oh, you got nothing. I was like, hold on for a minute. I messed up. I'm feeling weird. Something is wrong with me. Hold on. I went to 11 doctors, or even more, 13, 14 doctors. Doesn't matter. It was a lot. All of these people said some sort of like, go home, you got nothing. You know what, man? Those were the biggest bastards ever. They did put a wrong diagnosis on me, and I didn't know what was going on. On the following years, I was getting so many symptoms because what was happening. My collarbone, because it was unstable, my collarbone was getting twisted inside of my throat, in my shoulder, and it was so unstable. I was able to pop my bone out of my shoulder. And the next months and everything, I started to hear dazed. I was dizzy. My head was like, I had a pressure on my head. Of course, it was cutting up everything what I have in this area. And there's a lot: the throat, the lungs, the blood veins, everything. I was seeing befogged and everything. The way I was seeing was different. It was like imagine you would be a little bit drunk, but not in a good way. Yeah. My whole body, my whole upper body, my ribs were going up, because everything, my whole anatomy was changing. I couldn't breathe correctly. I couldn't see. I couldn't see clear. I couldn't hear clear. I had a pressure on my head. My whole body was changing. The whole anatomy, as I said, everything was changing. I had to quit my sports. I was losing social contacts because I was just at home suffering. The next 4.5 years were hell. And I don't know how, but I did manage it to to study. I was studying sound engineering. And I was doing all of these things. I was putting out an EP. It was crazy. I've been on television. I was acting a little bit. I was on the internet, on hip hop magazines and stuff like that. I was putting out an EP. And this EP was online. I was on the radio. I've been doing my stuff. And 4.5 years I was suffering, and it was getting worse and worse. I was suffering. You have no idea what's gonna happen to you if a bone, and believe me, that bone, there are reasons why you got muscles and tendons and all that stuff there. If a bone presses inside of your throat with a dynamic range, you couldn't imagine what this does to you. It feels like someone is ripping your soul out of your body. It feels like you can't describe that. That's insane. And after 4.5 years, everything was getting worse because I had that injury. And after 4.5 years, I said to myself, now I will go to those doctors and I kick their asses until they give me a surgery. And that's what I did. So I went to the doctors and I said, I need a surgery. Everything is destroyed, and I did this so long until I was getting one. And when they cut me off, it was exactly how I said. Everything was destroyed. Everything was destroyed. They operated me 8 times in a row. Left shoulder, right shoulder, twice right here in the upper collarbone. They did cut off my legs. They put out tendons and transplanted those into my shoulders and into my in my front collarbone. 8 times in a row. One surgery needs 1 year to heal, and they operate me 8 times in a row. You have no idea how much this is destroying your body. And then I was collapsing with the last operation. The tendons was also twisting inside of my throat and something. I collapsed. I was collapsing. They put me in the hospital. They gave me like drugs and everything, drugs that are making addicted. I had to get rid of this, so I had to I had to go into another hospital to do that. And I took so many against the pain, like the drugs and everything. This is insane. And after 8 times operated, I'm still sitting here far away from being healthy. We have no idea what this is doing. 8 operations in 4.5 years with that injury before. That's crazy. Do you know how it is to live a life like that? Waking up with pain, going to bed with pain, being there and waiting 8 years that something is getting better, but nothing is getting better. And you sit there and the only thing you do is suffering. When you are healthy, be thankful that you are healthy. Go out and enjoy your life. Don't make yourself free from that whole materialism and needing a status and all that type of things. Be happy that you are healthy, that you are living in a peaceful environment. Live your life, my friend. And in 2014, you know what I did? 8 years I was studying the pain to get behind what's going on. And I created something. I created the Immortalis, the Recumbent 8, an organization that is there for people who come together and who listen to something that has value, to come together and to create something that is a better society, a better world. I created that organization, and during the time where I was studying the pain, I was getting knowledge, and I became the WorldLifeChanger. I was calling myself the WorldLifeChanger. I was creating a plan where I could create something itself that is helping other people, and if we could come together and if we could go one way, we could have like the opportunity to get a better society, a better world. I was creating something out of my pain. It was the only thing I could do. I was creating something positive out of the negativity that I was getting. I created the Immortalis, and I became the WorldLifeChanger. I want to put some words out to my city, out to where I was raised up, out to where I lived. Hey Leute, ich liebe meine Stadt. Ich liebe, wo ich herkomme, wo ich aufgewachsen bin, wo ich alles erlebt habe, was ich nur hätte erleben können. Ich bin froh, dort aufgewachsen zu sein. Und an all die, mit denen ich aufgewachsen bin, an all die, mit denen ich groß geworden bin, und an all die, die mich feiern und die mich mögen. Ich liebe euch. Und ich bin froh, und es war mir eine Freude, mit euch aufgewachsen zu sein. An all die, die mich lieben, und an all die, die mich mögen, und an all die, die mich kennen und feiern, tut mir einen Gefallen. Und vergesst mich bitte nicht. Vergesst mich nicht. Das ist das, wovor ich Bedenken habe. Denkt an das, was ich gemacht habe, meine Musik, mein Wissen, an mich, an wer ich bin. MAEDIZ, Marcel. Vergesst mich bitte nicht. I did everything that I could do. I worked my ass off. I suffered my ass off. I did put everything into it to get back. To get back to a life that is worthwhile to live. I want you to know, if you are healthy, be happy. Be thankful. Be a good person. Appreciate what you got. And don't just complain all the time. Okay, my friend? I am MAEDIZ. And I am the WorldLifeChanger.
Und ich kann mehr werden, mehr erreichen, Größeres erschaffen. Jetzt bin ich einzigartig mit dem, was ich mache. Nicht nur der Musiker, schau hin, ich bin der WorldLifeChanger. Hab die Ausbildung bekommen, jetzt bin ich der Lehrer. Gib mir, was ich verdient hab, aber pronto bitte. Von Freiberg-Neckar raus bis nach London City. London ist die Stadt, ich bin angekommen. Rap-Marathon, schrei die Message durch das Matterhorn. Wer kann es schon verstehen, sie mein Leid. Doch die Dinge über mir wissen Bescheid über den Pein. Sie können verstehen, wachen stets und sehen ein, dass ich Wissen, Kraft und Power hab, um alles zu vereinen. Bin bereit, ich gehe den Weg nach vorne und ich steige empor. Es hat mich zu dem gemacht, der ich heute bin. Schau nie wieder zurück, doch vergiss niemals die Zeit. Hab das Ziel fest vor Augen und ich weiß, veränder die Welt. MAEDIZ, veränder die Welt, ich leb es. Ich bin der WorldLifeChanger und ich veränder die Welt.